Welcome back to the Lead Lamp Podcast. This episode, we have Tonia from Mountz Jewelers. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited. I think I told you before we started recording. I'm most excited because, and you're probably tired of hearing this, but like it's fun to put a face to the voice. And I think everyone in Central PA has probably heard your voice. So I was just really excited this morning to get to talk to you, like not just hearing you through the radio.
Well, I hope you're right. That is the goal. Our marketing department does a great job to get our message out there. And again, I mean, my brother and I are,
and it's entertaining.
Ron and Tonia
are usually entertaining.
Yes.
There's always some kind of fun little message twisted in there. It's a good time. But we're not here to talk about marketing as much as I would love to, because we're obviously a marketing team. But we're actually here to talk about just the history of Mountz Jewelers, how your brother and you got into that, what it's like to be a business owner and business partner with your sibling, and then just kind of the general jewelry industry. It's interesting to me. I did a little bit of research, like I said, on the history of Mountz, but I'd like you kind of to walk us through that and what it means to be in Central PA.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So the business started with my uncle originally, and my father joined him in the business as an apprentice. And my uncle ended up going to the ministry. So he left the business. My father bought it from him in 1967. So at
was that the other, that was named a different?
It was a different name. Yeah. It was our family name on the store, and that was in northern Dauphin County. So he had 2 jewelry stores in northern Dauphin County. That's where I grew up. And my brother, who I work with, is actually 18 years older than I am. So he got into the business relatively early into the ownership compared to me.
Right.
So.
And he was able to start there basically just helping with business, like day-to-day stuff, and then eventually working himself into being an owner there?
So he actually went to school. He was in the military, and then he went to school to become a watchmaker. So he is a horologist, is the title for a watchmaker.
I didn't know that one. That's a new one.
Yes. So he was a watchmaker by trade and worked with my father. And in 1979, family friends of my parents, Jackie and Vaughn Mountz, who owned the original Mountz Jewelers in downtown Carlisle, said that they wanted to retire and asked my dad if he had any interest in purchasing the store. So he talked to my brother, and my brother was all in, and my father pretty much put everything he had on the line and bought that one store in downtown Carlisle.
And that was, what year was that again?
1979.
Dang, so yeah.
45 years this year.
I saw the ad on your website. That's a big accomplishment for a local business.
Yes. So Ron moved to Carlisle, and he is the mastermind behind expanding Mountz Jewelers and doing all of that.
But it's been thoughtful. Like the Mountz Jewelers locations you have aren't too close. No. And I read like the one goal was to not be attached to like a mall kiosk or
so
you broke out of that.
Right. His original expansion went from downtown Carlisle. The next store opened in the Camp Hill Mall when it was an indoor mall.
I do remember that. We actually had a stand. My family had a deli at the Camp Hill Mall.
Okay.
Wiley's Deli.
All right.
Was at the little food court there, like right in the corner.
I'm sure I've eaten there. So that store opened when I was still in high school and then expanded. He was in Hershey. We had Mountz in Hershey, and we were in the Colonial Park shopping mall.
Okay.
And then obviously I've moved out of both the Camp Hill Mall and Harrisburg Mall, and we consolidated Hershey into the Harrisburg store.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Harrisburg store was a firehouse.
Was it? The one over there by the Colonial Park Mall?
Yes, if you look at it, you can see the windows in the front. They were the bays where the fire trucks would drive in.
Okay. That's a cool, it's an old, there's some history beyond,
There's a lot of history.
That's really
And our last move was actually our Carlisle store from the original downtown location out to Walnut Bottom Road.
And I remember when that was a bank previously.
It was. It was. So we were looking downtown for years trying to find a place, because the way the buildings are built downtown, it's impossible to expand. And there's no more room. We had no space. And so my husband's a realtor. He actually found the location for us.
Where in Carlisle was the original one?
So it was 153 North Hanover. Okay. If you know where Mount Fuji is.
Yeah.
It was to the left of Mount Fuji.
Gotcha. Okay. And now you guys are out on Walnut Bottom Road, which
correct.
10 years ago, 15 years ago wasn't as busy, but it's slowly creeping west there, and it's definitely getting busier. So that was a good plan a couple years ago, because it's...
Yeah, we had a crystal ball and everything.
Yeah, don't we all? But I mean, with the hospitals and stuff coming in, like that's just continually getting busier. So it's a good choice.
Yes, a lot of build up
Very good choice.
in that area.
So be getting into like the jewelry industry.
Right.
I don't even really know how you would say that other than the way I said it. You have to go to school, obviously, like your brother went to school to be a watchmaker, which I'm sure I'm interested in that too, because that sounds like it's very mechanical, but very small scale tedious. Yes. But then you went to school for gemology. Yes. And that's interesting to me too, because I just like, what do you do when you go to school for that? Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, so I wasn't planning necessarily to be in the industry. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was a business major in college, and there was a conflict that occurred in the business that my father needed help and my brother. So I decided to take it upon myself to finish that year of college and take off for California and go to gemology school.
Is that like one of the only schools? At
the time, there were only 2 in the world.
Okay.
One was in Asia. Well, I shouldn't say that. There were 2 in the U.S. There was one in New York and one in California. The wait list for New York was so long that I didn't want to wait. Mm-hmm. And the one in California, I could get into. They had one and only night class that they opened that summer.
Oh, wow.
And so that's how I got in. It was something that wasn't actually being offered. So the people who were in my class were from all over the world because, again, they only had the New York and the California schools at that time.
Large demand.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's probably a very interesting class to be in.
It is. It's very scientific.
Okay.
So I spent the days under the microscope a lot. So there's certain equipment, and for gemstones, what you do is you learn how to test them to determine if it's a natural gemstone, what the gemstone is. So if you have a purple gemstone, to determine if it's an amethyst or if it's a synthetic that looks like an amethyst.
Right.
And there's equipment where you test how the light travels through it.
Okay.
And that's one of the ways, the weight that it is, just like you have a rock the same size as cotton, they don't weigh the same.
Right.
So gems, even though they are the same size, they don't have the same specific gravity, basically.
Huh.
So,
and everyone's different.
Everyone is different.
Like
exactly.
Now you didn't learn how to cut and
No, there was no faceting involved. Okay. What I studied was very technical as far as being able to grade diamonds, being able to identify gemstones and grade gemstones. So when I initially started, when I came back, I was doing appraisals.
Okay. That's interesting. And I'm sure you see all sorts of, like, on a technical aspect, it's probably very interesting, the tiny nuances in a gemstone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even, there's probably a million ways you could talk about that. Could be a whole another hour.
So it's a lot of information, lots of
people don't
technicalities.
Think about that though. They see the number or like the grade on the card beside the diamond, and people usually don't think too much into it other than like, oh, well, it's a higher number, it must be better. But they don't really think about what goes into all that.
Right. And each one is grown in the earth. So again, there's different crystal structures for different gemstones and where they come from. Yes. And yeah. Okay. I mean, you're owning a piece of the earth when you have a gemstone. A diamond is 1 billion years old. I mean, it's something you'll never own anything else that is that historic.
I never thought of it that way. Huh. All right. So you worked with your brother, who was then the owner, and now from 1989, you told me when we started the podcast. From 89 forward, you get out of school and you're back at the store or the stores, and now you're working day to day. Kind of go through that path of what you went along the way to become, a partner in the business as well, and then kind of how it looks today.
I think my brother, Ron, was a little bit concerned. We didn't really know each other. Mm-hmm. So when I was born, he was moving out. We never lived together in the same house. Mm-hmm. So the way we got to know each other was working together and bringing a sibling in. You have no idea what their work ethic is,
right.
If you're going to have the same standards. And from the beginning, he always said, you're going to work harder than anybody else in this business to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Because we've never been a family where you are just given something because of being a family member.
Right.
You have to prove yourself. So when I first started, like I said, I did appraisal work in the store, and I progressed from there. I became the manager of our Carlisle store initially, and our Camp Hill store was still is a larger voluming store. Mm-hmm. So I moved to the Camp Hill store when the manager there retired and became the manager in Camp Hill. And then I brought in another manager underneath me, and I started looking at the overall business. So my brother is 18 years older than me, so as I already mentioned. So I'm like the next generation, even though I'm not.
Yeah.
So he was doing everything to try to teach me hands-on so that he could eventually step away.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. You said that he kind of gave you some tough love, like, hey, you're going to do this, but we're going to make sure you earn it and you learn along the way.
And again, our father was the same way. I mean, we never asked anybody to do something that we wouldn't be willing to do. I mean, take out the trash, sweep the floors, whatever it takes. I mean, you talked about the bow making commercial. It's funny because all of us have made bows. I mean, as a child, I used to make bows in front of on
the same machine.
Well, I did that in the store, but at my father's store, he actually had other bows as well that were smaller.
Okay.
And you would make them on your hand.
Oh, wow.
And so as a child, I did that in front of the television when I was young.
Just sit there and watch.
And make bows. And I made them on the same machine that Ron made them on, that my daughter, my son, we all use the exact same machine to make the bows that we put on our packages at the store.
That's awesome. I like that. This is going back to, like, I was telling you, we had a deli. We had a family business, obviously, for quite some time at the West Shore Farmers Market, the old one, before it unfortunately burnt down.
Right.
Was a cooler market, though, because it was like, felt like a market.
Right.
We had machinery and equipment like that as well. That was like my great grandfather bought it, and it was like these old scales and registers, and it's cool to have heirloom stuff like that in your business because there's some nostalgia with it too. So
there is. And the biggest fear is breaking the machine. So we actually bought another one online just to have extra parts. And now we have employees who their children have made bows and they come in the summertime.
It's like a rite of passage.
It is. It is. It's a neat process that we have as far as having that hand touch that goes on top of every package.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were saying you now are working your way on this story here, progressing through, and now you're partnered with your brother, who now, I'm guessing at that point when you partnered, your father was...
So our father passed away in 2002.
Okay.
So when he had the two stores. When I first started working, he condensed into one because he was ill. Okay. And so until he passed away, he still was going to work because it was what he did. Yeah. Right. And so after he passed away, we went and had a going out of business sale of his store. Okay. So my brothers and I went and we ran that, seeing all the people that we grew up helping, because again, all of us worked in the same store in our hometown.
That was on the East Shore?
Yes, in Millersburg.
Yeah.
So that's what happened there. And as far as ownership, it was important that my father knew that I was committed, and that was part of the reason that I took over some ownership before he passed.
Gotcha.
So that he knew that everything was going to be okay and that the business would continue on. Like I said, it's almost like another generation. It was still going to be in the family.
Yeah. Now, the growth after that is pretty interesting because it seems that you guys are reaching out more and doing more, even in the last 15, 20 years. I see you around more. You're very involved in the community. You're obviously, people hear you everywhere. But really you haven't become the chain, like you were saying earlier. You're not a retail chain store. You're just a retail local family business still. So it's very interesting how you guys have marketed yourself probably in the last 20 years or so to feel like a big brand, but you still have that hometown business feel.
Right. So it's very important to us to know everybody who works for us. I mean, to me, it's just an extension of our family. I mean, it is the Mountz family to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask me what keeps me up at night. Supporting, 45 employees keeps me up at night. Yeah. It's very important to me that they have a livelihood and that they enjoy what they're doing. And again, I live in this community, as does my brother, and we want this community to be successful. So that's why we're partnered in so many different charitable organizations.
Yeah.
So.
I see there's a list of different things you've done on your website with community events or getting involved with different nonprofits as far as fundraising. And, we're associated obviously with the Verber Dental Group, who is another large organization in the area. And you have to, as a brand that's representing your community. And, sometimes people think that we're a larger organization, and we are too. And we're really not. I mean,
Well, again, you have to give back to the people who support you.
Yeah, that's
what happens.
They're the reason you're in business.
Exactly. And we give to over 75 charities a year. This year is our 45th anniversary. Mm-hmm. So we're doing,
congratulations.
Thank you, a multitude of things. One of them is a $4,500 shopping spree that we're going to be giving away on October 1st, which is the actual anniversary date. But to enter, you come into the store, you don't have to buy anything. When you enter, there's a place to recommend a charity to give money to.
Okay.
So we're giving $450 to 45 different charities this year.
Okay.
So we're drawing names of our clients who have registered, and we are selecting at random different charities. So there's different people getting the $450 than we normally give to as well, because again, we're trying to support those people who are supporting us.
And then whoever puts the postcards in gets a chance to win the shopping.
The $4,500 shopping spree. Yeah. So win-win.
Yeah, I'll tell my wife. Oh, no,
why? You don't have to buy anything. Come on in.
Yeah. No, that'd be perfect.
She can come in, make a wish. Well, she makes a wish list, and then you know what to buy her.
I've heard that. So let's talk about that. I don't have that kind of on our agenda, but you guys are very good at, and that might be credit to your marketing team too. I'm not trying to take credit away from anyone where it's due, but you're very good at making the process feel like it's friendly to come in there and talk or figure out what you want or what my wife wants, or my wife can come in and make the wish list for me so I don't have to come in and look like a fool and wonder what to get for my wife. You're very good at breaking down that with your messaging.
Thank you. It's definitely our team. I mean, the team on the sales floor, they're amazing, and they care about everybody who walks through the door. Our business is built on relationships. Mm-hmm. So we know people who bought their engagement ring from us. Obviously, they have push presents, anniversaries, and eventually their children come back and buy engagement rings from us. We have generations coming back, and that's what our business is about. Mm-hmm. It's all about relationships, knowing each other, building that trust. And the wish list is a great opportunity for anybody, because you know that she's getting something that she wants, and she
doesn't know what it is on the list.
She doesn't know. She can come in and she can select whatever she wants, and even if you go off a little bit, at least you have a direction.
Right.
So it's very helpful for
men.
Men.
If it was like me, if it was me making the wish list, and it was the other way around, I would probably forget some of the things I put on the wish list, and then you're like, oh yeah, like that was a nice thing. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. You don't hear about other like the chain jewelers doing those types of things. So it's cool that you have that spin on it. Even with your marketing, it's way better than what you see in the air.
Well, again, we try to be full service. So we have 6 jewelers on staff.
Explain the difference between a jeweler and like a associate.
Okay. So the jewelers are different levels. So we have master goldsmiths, and we do ring sizings. We set our own diamonds. So if you come in and you select a diamond and you select a setting, our jeweler will actually set that diamond. Okay. If you have chain that needs repaired or any type of repair, we have all different levels of jewelers to do the work. So they are at a bench in the back doing the repair work.
Okay. So the custom settings and custom gemstones or diamonds, that's where... Are you guys buying settings from another artist or another jeweler and then setting them, or do your jewelers, are they able to create jewelry there? Or?
We can do all of it. Okay. So the jewelers aren't the ones who are doing the creating. So we do a lot of custom work. So we have a CAD system. So if you come in with an idea and a gemstone that you inherited, we can make a piece of jewelry for you.
That's interesting. Is it all... Now, see, we're going to go off on...
That's okay. You go right ahead.
So that's how that is. So I have an heirloom diamond from... great-grandma. I want to put it on a setting. But my wife doesn't want it to be something that was bought or something anyone else has. Right. Kind of walk through that process of how you go from the idea that someone has to like putting it on their hand.
Yeah, it's an amazing process. So you can come in, we can show you product in the case just to try to get us down the right path. And then we create something, a 3D image in the computer. You can actually move it around. You can see what it would look like on the hand. The next step is actually making what's called a wax. So it's not made of metal. It is a hardened wax that we get made from this 3D image that you can try on to make sure that all the sizing is what you're thinking. The design looks like what you want. We can tweak it from there, make those adjustments in the CAD, and then create the wax again, just to, till we get it to where you want it to be. And then it's made in the metal and the gemstones.
Huh.
And it's everything that you imagined in your own mind.
Now, how is it when it goes from the wax model to the metal? Is someone actually hand?
No, it goes into a machine to do that.
Okay.
In most cases. I mean, we have somebody who does some things by hand as well.
It gets melted.
But, right. And we don't do it in-house because of the temperature for the melting of the metal. It's a fire hazard. So it's another level of insurance.
You don't want that in your retail setting.
Exactly. Yeah. So we do that. We have, we do restringing in the store where we restring pearls. We have appraisers. So as we already mentioned, I'm a graduate gemologist. I'm also a certified gemologist appraiser through the American Gem Society, which is a safeguard to the consumer. If you have an AGS store, it means that they've done research on us that we're not the type of jewelry store that marks up jewelry to mark down the pricing,
right.
That we are legit and trustworthy. So we have, at this point, 3 other gemologists on staff as well. So we do appraisals, we do buying of gold, any service that you think of in the business, we do it.
Okay. And it seems like you guys go out of your way too to accommodate the customer. We were talking a little bit earlier about our common connection with another marketing agency in the area for a different type of marketing.
Right.
You were saying like there's times where you got to think fast for a customer, and you guys do go out of your way to kind of make something happen for someone if it's like a special moment or something that needs done. It seems like your brand is the type that goes out of their way to make that happen for
We have a lot of great relationships with our vendors. So one of the other things that we have done is we try to bring vendors to this area, designers that wouldn't necessarily come to central Pennsylvania.
Right. It's a different kind of area.
It is a different area. So we have always made a concerted effort to bring the top quality brands to central Pennsylvania so that everybody can enjoy them just like you would in a metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And as far as getting something quickly, because of the relationships that we have, if you come in and it's your anniversary, on Friday and today's Thursday, I can make a phone call and get something here tomorrow if I don't have it. Or if we need to put something together, again, we have the jewelers in the back. So we have loose gemstones, we can put it together and our jeweler can make it happen.
If I was procrastinating, is what you're saying. If I was procrastinating, then you can make it work.
A couple days before Christmas, it's usually all men in the store.
I'm sure.
Because they just found out Christmas was on the 25th.
We don't need to go there. I feel a little...
It's all good.
Actually, no, I'm pretty good with Christmas. It's the other holidays that I like, oh, crap.
Well, we keep those in our records also, and we reach out and let you know that it's your anniversary or birthday so that you don't forget.
All right.
Again, it's all about that relationship. So once we get to know you and we know, if you want that type of interaction, we're happy to do it.
Okay. So from a business side, an interesting question I want to have, or I want to talk about with you is something we were just talking about from our side earlier today is, do you see shoulder seasons? Now, obviously, I think with jewelry, their busy seasons are probably Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas.
So what we try to do,
I'm sure you see there's moments where it's not a rush, and then like, how do you, in your industry, fill that back in?
Create it. So we do events throughout the year to try to keep the business solid throughout the 12 months, because again, we want to have that business flow so that we can support what we do in the community for charitable givings as well as for the employees that we have. So for example, we have a diamond event coming up. So June 17th to the 22nd, we're doing a diamond event where we bring in more diamonds than we ever have. And we have a lot normally. We hand select every single diamond that comes into the store.
Okay.
So when you buy a diamond from us, you know that it's been touched by multiple gemologists, and we've looked at that diamond to make sure that it's the quality that we want to be selling, so that when you say it's from Mountz,
it's truly from...
It's from Mountz, and we're proud of what you're wearing, and you're proud of what you have given, and she's proud of what she's wearing as well. So it's important to do that, because when you buy a diamond online, I mean, I wouldn't, as a gemologist, I would not buy a diamond online without being able to see it first.
Right.
Because a lot of the information... It's actual information, but you don't really understand it because a lot of it's averages. So when you're talking averages, things can be a little bit wonky on the diamond, and you don't know that until you actually see it and touch it.
Okay.
But anyway, so we have this diamond event coming up. During that event, obviously, we try to reach out to people who are looking for diamonds. We bring them in. We have a great selection. We have special financing. We have up to $500 off the purchase.
What was the dates of it again?
It's June 17th to the 22nd.
Okay. All right.
So up to $500 off during that time, special financing. You can also trade in diamonds. So if you bought a diamond and it's your anniversary and you're thinking, I always wish I would have given her a bigger diamond at the time I couldn't, you can bring your diamond in. We'll take it as a trade in and you can trade it up so your diamond can grow. If you buy diamond studs either elsewhere or with us, if you buy diamond studs with us, we give you what you paid for them for larger diamond studs. So it's a very nice way. And it's a trade up. So, and you get exactly what you paid for them. We guarantee that. So it's a nice way to get a basic item that a woman is going to wear every day. I never thought, I always wore fashion earrings. And when I got my diamond studs, I wear them so often now. It's so easy.
Yeah, I think my wife is more fashion. She always wears the larger fashion earrings. But like you said, I think sometimes the simple ones are more utility. Like you can use them for anything.
Well, having basics is a nice way to start your jewelry collection. So having a nice diamond bracelet, nice diamond rings, diamond stud earrings, diamond pendant. It's just an easy way to get something that you can wear all the time with blue jeans or when you're dressed up. So that's why our diamond event is such a big event for us. It's one of our biggest events of the year. So again, we do things like that. We have other events throughout the year to bring business in. And when we have wedding band shows, for example, so if you're getting married, we do wedding band shows. So we have vendors who come in with all their wedding bands. So you have the largest selection that you could ever think of to find your wedding bands. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad.
Sometimes there's too much selection,
But it's nice because you know that you're making the right choice. It's not like you have a limited selection and you just selected it and then you're questioning, did I really get what I wanted? But we do that so that we spread out that type of business throughout the year.
Yeah, so that gets you through those like droughts in between holidays or special events or special occasions.
So weddings are usually June and September. And then you have Valentine's Day in February. We have Christmas, obviously, the end of the year. And we start targeting that in the beginning of the fourth quarter. Because we have a lot of new product coming in all the time throughout the year. And when you get to the fourth quarter, if there's something that is on the wish list and you want to make sure you have it, it's very important for you to come in and select it. We can put it back on layaway. We have layaway up to 6 months, so you can make payments on product in the store. So you don't have to take it out. Again, we have financing, so lots of different options, but you're sure to get what you want. And
the other thing I noticed on your on the site too is you have a wide variety of options for people. So it's not... although your branding is done very well and everything looks tip top and buttoned up perfectly, people don't need to feel like they're budget restricted with shopping there. I've noticed you have from every budget from top to bottom everywhere around.
And we try to do that because again, you never know what it is that the occasion is, what level it's going to be, what the budget is. And we try to fulfill everybody's need because everybody deserves to have a gift from Mountz.
There you go. I think what I was trying to get at with that is, obviously I've been into other jewelry stores with my wife as well. And you go into some that are like higher end and have that higher end feel, but then you look at the price tags and you're like,
a lot of people, a lot of people have that impression, I think, of us, and it truly isn't what we do. So if somebody comes in and we just had a situation where a mother came in with her son to buy something for a prom, and the girl didn't want flowers because she was making something special. So they bought something within the same budget as he would have bought flowers for her. And gave her a piece of jewelry that's going to last a lifetime.
That's a good idea. It's nice to have that. So you have the feel that anyone that comes in there's going to have the feel of getting treated like they're at a New York high-end
we don't judge anybody. We give the same experience to everybody who walks through the door. Again, it's built on relationships. So you never know what the next occasion is going to be. So we're not judging on anyone because every occasion is special.
10 years ago, when I first got married, I was in a different situation than we are now as people,
So you can come trade in your diamond for a bigger one.
Twist them around.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Kristen's not allowed to listen to this. No. It'd probably be better because we could do that then. She'd be happier with it.
That's right.
No, I think that's a great program. And like you said, you have you're very in touch with your customers and you're very in touch with the community. But the central Pennsylvania, you touched on a little bit earlier when you were talking about getting people to come in like jewelers or just people that come in to work for you to bring that level of talent in. It is a different type of area. It's great for business because you do get a lot of dedicated people for local brands, but it's not Philly and it's not New York or DC where you have just a different level of customer and talent. So kind of talk on that about being in business in Central PA and kind of how unique it is as an area for businesses.
Well, again, we have our core values. So when we interview people, that's very important to us to make sure that they understand what our expectations are, because as you already mentioned, we're trying to create these special moments and we can't have somebody coming in who doesn't have that same vision as we have.
Right.
Our DNA is very specific as far as being philanthropic, being giving to the community, as well as taking care of our clients to a level that is above what you experience in most stores in central Pennsylvania.
Right.
And we have been very focused on that. And that's not going to ever change. So finding people is difficult. It's always difficult, especially in this market.
Right.
Lots of people are hiring, but when we find the right match, it's wonderful. We have employees who have been with us. We have one, he's actually going to be retiring this year. It's been 42 years.
Oh, wow.
So,
From the beginning, pretty much, yeah.
Yes, he was the first hire of the store.
Wow.
So
that speaks volume of, how you treat your employees as well, not just your customers. So that's
again, we take it very seriously and we want them to enjoy what they're doing. And we have employees that are, 25 years, 30, we have all different levels. And when we bring somebody in, it's like the relationship we're building with the client. We want it to be something that they are proud of, to work at Mountz Jewelers, and that they're creating these special moments and they feel fulfilled every day when they come to work.
You were mentioning the market. Everyone talks about the market for hiring now. Do you find that everyone's paying more, everyone's requesting more, but with a brand like yours, do you find that there's people that they want to work? Like you'll find those people that just want to work or be associated with a brand and that like they fit, they know, they come in and you can feel like this is the right
They get it. Yeah. It's very important that they get it. Yeah. And also that, we give benefits to the employees. We are stable. I think that that's important to a lot of people. And we also understand the need of flexibility.
Right.
I mean, I've had a situation in my family where on December 1st, one year we were in a horrific car accident and, we're going into Christmas. I never would have thought that we could get through the holiday without me being there. And that's what happened that year. And I've always been that mindset that family is first. Again, we are a second family at Mountz,
right?
But everybody has their own personal situations,
right?
So that flexibility you can't find at a lot of places,
right? Yeah, we have that here. It's I'm trying to be that way with my team too. Like, if you have something that's going on, obviously you need to let us know, but we'll work with you. We need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and your family as well. Like, you shouldn't think twice when it comes to work or
exactly.
family.
I mean, we have hours, so we have to maintain people. We have to have people in the store when a client walks through the door. Right. But again, when we have that type of environment, another person will give you their time,
right?
So you can have your time when it's needed.
They figure out how to get.
We help each other.
Things done, right?
That's how a family does it.
That's the way it should be. So I want to kind of go back into you and your story real quick before we wrap up. What is that spark for you you've been in the business now for a very long time. Like, what's that drive? Some people might lose that from time to time, but when you usually come back to it eventually when it reignites, but there's usually a spark. So like, what's that spark for you that keeps you doing what you're doing with Mountz?
So it goes back to these moments. I mean, that's how we came up with the concept of Mountz Moments, because we're there for everybody's very special moment in their life. When you think about your life and moments like that, how do you represent it? And a lot of times it's jewelry. So when you hear the stories and you see the expressions on people's faces when they get a piece of jewelry from Mountz, they open up that box and you know that they're going to be wearing it and looking at it, and it's always going to take them back to that exact moment. And it's so important to us to create that special moment, and that's what keeps me going, because when somebody is standing in the store making that decision, I know that it's going to be a lifetime of memories for them.
Right.
And it's going to be passed on through generations. That's the other nice thing with jewelry. So there's not many items that you can have from great-grandparents that you're looking at the exact same piece and touching the exact same item that they did. And a diamond is that way. A lot of gemstones are that way too.
And the nice thing about it is it can always be cleaned up and repurposed and or made to look brand new again. Correct. Or we've, I've seen that happen. My mother did that with one of her, I think it was her grandma's ring. It was gold and it was a diamond, obviously, but it started to look a little aged, which they all do, and was cleaned up and it was brand new again. So like you can restore life into heirloom stuff as well. That's very good. So I never thought about it till I did a little bit of research on Mountz, but like you're right. You're pivotal in like most of your customers' family events, big family events, having kids, getting married, anniversaries, graduations, like
Father's Day, Mother's Day. I mean, you name it.
Yeah,
and
just random surprises.
That's right. Get you out of the doghouse.
Yeah, sometimes. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where it's very cool that you tie that in with the Mountz moment, kind of make it a Mountz moment. I don't know if that's like your official jingle or anything, but it works. I mean, and you tie it into all your marketing, and it's a great thing for the community. So, did you have anything new for Mountz? I know you threw in the promo, the diamond event.
Yeah, we have the June diamond event. We also have a giveaway with that. So we have a sapphire pendant. It's worth $1,650.
This is on top of the shopping spree.
Well, no, this is for the diamond event.
I'm sorry. No,
yes, so you can come in and enter it's on Instagram. So you go on Instagram, you tag somebody, and you can be entered to win a $1,650 sapphire pendant. Sapphire is the 45th anniversary stone, so that's why we're doing sapphire.
Everything's 45s.
We're trying. We're trying for this year. So you can go on Instagram, enter up through the 16th of June.
Okay.
And then we will have a winner for that. It's a fauna piece. It's beautiful. And you don't have to buy anything. So we're trying to get up to 4,500 followers on our Instagram. So anybody get them to follow us, please.
Well, you can get a couple here. I'll make sure I do it. So maybe I can get a gift there out of that.
There you go.
But no, I think that's great. Anything Mountz is Mountz. There are 3 locations in the area. You got Carlisle on Wanna Bottom Road, which I drive by like every day. I should stop in now.
You should.
Camp Hill, which I think most people know in this area, just because it's like, is that like your flagship store? Kind of the old. That's the.
It has. It is not our largest. The Harrisburg store is the largest square footage, but our offices are in the Camp Hill location.
Okay. I think earlier you said it was the one with the most inventory at the time.
Well, it's a larger volume than Carlisle. So I went from Carlisle to Camp Hill.
Gotcha.
So it was a growth for me.
There's more coming through that
store.
Okay. And then you also have the Harrisburg store, which is over by...
it's on Jonestown Road.
Yep. Or by the
Colonial Park Mall. And that is our largest square footage store.
Gotcha. Most showroom space.
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of product.
Very cool. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's been interesting. And I learned a little bit about, how to grade gems. So
good.
It's great.
And some ideas for your wife.
And some ideas for my wife. So I'll keep those in my back pocket.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.